go.
So that's,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We'll call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order at 6:21. Roll call, please.
Ms. Allen,
Here.
Mayor Murphy,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
here.
Mr. Doherty,
Here.
Mr. Burchett, Mrs. Witt,
Here.
Ms. Marcus.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Burchett from the meeting.
Call, please.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Doherty,
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. The next item, we have the approval of the minutes from the Committee of the Whole meeting from April 24th. If there are no changes, corrections, they will be approved as they are. Hearing none, they are approved. Finance Director,
I have nothing to report, thank you.
City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Marcus. Council will recall that last week I sent out an email regarding whether we wanted to participate in the natural gas aggregation. So I guess I'm bringing that up now to kind of get the opinion of the council. So when we did the electric aggregation, I think everyone will agree that that has saved some,
Yes.
our community, our small businesses, and our residents money. This would also be run through MVCC, that's the Miami Valley Cable Council. However, with the fluctuations of natural gas, it's not really, the savings could be beneficial 1 month or 2 or 3 months, and then it could actually fluctuate the other way to where the rate that we would lock in through aggregation would actually be higher. So, for example, I heard from one council member who indicated they currently have a locked-in rate through an entity called Ohio Natural Gas at .0699, and the proposal for aggregation through Palmer Energy and MVCC would be 20 months at .07069. So that's slightly, however, but what this does is it doesn't maybe necessarily guarantee savings each and every month. It does allow for MVCC to protect our residents against adverse market volatility where it can go up and down and fluctuate quite a bit. The other aspect of this that I think I said in the email was that when we did the electric aggregation, all of you may recall that we held 2 public hearings, which was a requirement of the Ohio Revised Code. We did not include the gas aggregation at that time, so we would still need to go through that process. Palmer Energy, who is the contractor, they are willing to assist us with those if you wanted to hold those. The Ohio Revised Code requires that we have to give a 2-week public notice before we'd actually hold the public hearing. But a representative, Phil, would be here to answer any questions for any residents or small business owners that might come in. I think that if you're wanting a little direction from me, it may be good to hold the public hearings, because if at any point, even in the future, if it wasn't this time, if we wanted to enter into natural gas aggregation, we would have already had that process taken care of. So that you only have to do that once. You don't have to do it each and every time that you're looking to enter into an aggregation. For example, the electric aggregation will expire at the end of this year. We're already through MVC starting the negotiations for another 2-year or so agreement on the electric aggregation. And we don't anticipate those savings to be quite as strong, but we still expect them to be better than the rates that you could get through AES. So I guess what I'm looking for tonight is some direction from council. If you would like to go ahead and try to schedule the public hearings to give consideration to gas aggregation, or, and also for the public, if you may recall this from the electric aggregation, this isn't, if council was to move forward with this, this is a opt-out, which means everybody's in, but anybody can opt out at any time, and they can jump back in, they can jump out, they can jump in, they can jump out as many times as they want. There's no fee, there's no penalty to do so. Might be a bit of a headache, might be a bit of a, struggle to juggle all that if you were watching the market and 1 month it was higher than the next. But there's no, the only burden, I guess, that would be on a resident is that if they don't want to be part of the aggregation, they would have to make a phone call to opt out of the aggregation. So, and the reason it's a opt-out program is that's the way Palmer Energy and MVCC has the ability to take 18 or 19 jurisdictions that are participating in the program to get all of their residents to say, this is what we're bringing to you, so give us the best bid possible, right? Because you have a much larger aggregate population that you're promising that energy company that they would be able to represent.
Let's say go forward with it.
I think so too. Can we do a voice vote?
Yes.
Mike,
I
is
think
this,
I have a question.
is this an apples to apples sort of thing where I know some energy companies, for example, will charge a delivery fee? Is
They all
there
do.
Oh, yeah.
anything
do.
in there
There's-
that
it-
may
it-
skew the numbers?
No, it's apples to apples. It would be a .07069 rate for 20 months.
Okay.
If we, were again, after the two public hearings were held, and then if we actually pass legislation to join
Yeah.
the gas aggregate program through MVCC, that would be the locked-in rate.
All right.
I reach in.
And I'm sure we can probably look at the historical, numbers that
Yes.
we've dealt with before. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Unit of measure.
But again, I wanted to, they're not necessarily guaranteeing savings like they did through the electric aggregation, but they are guaranteeing the ability that you wouldn't have a volatility in the program going up and down, so.
And there is no fee to opt out. Even though I sign up this month, 2 months down the road, I do not have to pay an opt-out fee.
Surely, everything I've been told, it's like the electric aggregation, there's never been a fee to opt in and out, and.
We have to make sure.
Yes, the intent, and I will do that, but the intent
Yes.
is that gas would follow the same suit. And again, they're using, Palmer Energy is the same group that represented MVCC in all the jurisdictions in the electric aggregation negotiation.
And to make people feel good about your electric bill, I was in Virginia last week with my sister. My nephew's electric bill has been running around $1,000 a month. Her bill has not been under $400. The cheapest bill in Buchanan County is around $300. They have a monopoly, so they have to pay whatever. And I said, thank you, Lord, that
we
we've
entered,
got
yeah.
what we have. So I'm very thankful. Because it did save me a lot of money, almost half.
They've been very candid that
They
this
have.
would lock in and save you from volatility, but you wouldn't necessarily probably experience the same savings that we did through the electric aggregation. And even when we enter another one of those, beginning next year, the rate will be good, but it will not be as positive as this current one has been, is what that's what they're gauging right now anyways.
I just would not want one of our elderly citizens not to understand and call in and opt out and then be charged a fee when they
Correct.
found out. So I want to make sure that we
Absolutely.
do not have that.
Are all the same cities involved from the electric to the gas right now?
I would go back and look, but I would say, I think there's maybe one or two, but most everyone, yes. Most everyone is saying, some of them had the same questions and concerns. That's why we didn't run the actual public hearings for the gas aggregation 2 years ago. You guys will remember that, but now many of them are just concerned about the volatility of the market and saying, well, if we can secure a rate that at least we consistently know what it is, it makes sense to move forward with that. That's how the discussion's been at our GovTech meetings.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with having a public hearing anyway. We want to move forward. I'm for it.
Okay. Martina, should that be by voice vote?
Yes.
Okay. So it would be for the requirement, the ORC requirements for two public hearings, however, they can be scheduled back to back. We could determine the dates for that. Mayor would take a voice vote.
All that is in there.
Okay. do
We
that.
have want to make a motion that we want to hold the public hearings.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Sorry, Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Thank you. That is all I have, Ms. Marcus.
Okay. Mayor Murphy, do you have anything?
No, I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Law Director?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Clerk of Council?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
We move into business. We have two items tonight. The first one is the MVECA and MVCC potential merger.
Yes, I will take that, Ms. Marcus. So all of you know about that we are a member of the Miami Valley Communications Council. They do a lot of good work for us. We have a lot of collaborative efforts with some of our neighbors, which include the Tactical Crime Suppression Unit, GovTech, which is the City Managers Board, various professional roundtables and professional training, and then obviously what we just talked about a minute ago, the ability to enter into aggregation agreements, and then the street lights that was passed earlier today, and then also road striping. So collectively, the city has benefited from that. MVCC, their structure has been, they essentially, they survive off franchise fees. And a lot of people are cutting the cord, so to speak, when it comes to cable. So franchise fees are starting to shrink, and they have estimated out that over about a 3-year period, they would not have enough funding to be able to operate the way they currently do. MVECA, which is the Miami Valley Educational Computer Association, they offer similar services, but primarily to school districts. And so through a strategic plan initiative that occurred at the end of last year, Jay, who heads up MVCC, and then Thor, who heads up MVECA, got together and started talking and realized there was a potential here for a great collaboration and a merger to create another entity. If any of you have not heard the word or the acronym COG, it stands for Council of Governments, and that's what MVCC is, and that's what MVECA is. And so they've come together, they've gone through their MVCC board. Council member Burchett is on that board, and they came through GovTech, that's the committee that I'm on. And they made these presentations showing how the long-term sustainability of both organizations would be great and probably have a long life, would have a long life if they were able to merge and create a new COG. That new COG would be called the Miami Valley Technology and Communications Group, MVTCG, a lot of acronyms here. But the structure would be an umbrella, so below MVTCG, you would still have MVCC, and you would still have MVECA. So they would still operate as they do currently. So we would still get the TCSU, which helps our police departments, police chiefs, and we share a lot of different infrastructure needs. We actually contribute officers onto the TCSU, so do the other jurisdictions. And by the way, I think I might have missed this. There are tons of affiliates. Almost all the jurisdictions in the Miami Valley are an affiliate member of MVCC, but the actual structure of the board is made up of 8 communities, and that's us, and then it's Kettering, Centerville, Springboro, Miamisburg, West Carrollton, Oakwood, and Germantown. So those are the 8 communities that are required to pass legislation to be able to support this merger. Also, our IT department has talked to Thor with MVECA, and we have learned of the potential of saving the city quite a bit of money and utilizing some of their services and infrastructure, IT infrastructure that they have that could be extremely beneficial for us and the other 7 members of MVCC. So what I'm asking, I'm sorry?
Would the office on Alexdale Road, would that close or?
So, yeah, good question, Aura. From that perspective, I think MVCC has about 12 employees, and MVECA is located in Yellow Springs in a 90,000 square foot building where they actually have multi-tenants. They're not taking all of that space. The end goal from this merger is that those employees would have to travel to Yellow Springs, and then the building on Alex Bell in Centerville would be sold, and those assets would be folded into the new group as well.
Would that be an inconvenience for the people here?
Nothing for us. In fact, when we talked in GovTech, instead of going to that MVCC building monthly for our meetings, the other city managers, we would probably host. So 1 month, Moraine would host, and then another month, maybe Miamisburg, Keith, another month, Matt and Kettering. So we would do that so that we weren't all heading out to Yellow Springs once or twice a month. And nothing wrong with going there, but we just felt it would also gain greater exposure for all of us. We'd be able to accommodate. I think that would be nice. And because they are a COG, a Council of Governments, their employees are already in a similar pension retirement system as public employees. They would just have to transfer PERS into SERS, which is the educational side, but that's pretty fluid. That's pretty easy to do between the two boards.
So is Jay retiring?
So yes, I didn't, so Thor would become the head of MBTCG, and Jay would become the second in charge. And I talked to both of them about that, actually. Jay was saying, hey, I'm probably gonna retire at the end of the year. Jay, by the way, used to be the assistant city manager in Oakwood, when he retired from that. So he's a great guy, but I think MBCC may lose him at the end of the year. There's already written agreements in the legislation that we would look to hire another person that was familiar with local government into that role. And then Thor potentially could retire in 3 or 4 years. However, he's indicated he would likely stay longer. But the end goal is that they would then end up hiring someone from the education side or the technology side for that position. So the consistency, the board makeup, and the intent and the direction of both entities will continue to move forward. Again, they'll just be under this larger umbrella.
They would have their separate meetings.
Correct. And separate boards, but then they would report to a larger, the umbrella board
They
as
would
well.
the meetings would like rotate from one city to the next, like.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And they would still offer professional development. Many of our staff attend those. They're fee-friendly and very productive, and oftentimes you get training from other professionals from some of the neighboring jurisdictions.
Not gonna hurt our meetings and, our meetings on TV or anything,
No.
so people can still watch them.
And Aaron's been made aware of that, and he's also spoken to them as well.
Okay.
Yep. So what I would ask for is, if the support is there, is for legislation to be drawn to support the merger between MBCC and Mabeka.
Motion?
I'll make a motion that legislation be prepared for the merger of the MVECA and the MVCC.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Doherty,
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes.
Thank
Our
you.
second item is the Moraine Community Parks and Recreation Vision Plan.
All right. Well, here we are. I've been waiting to do this for a long time. A lot of hard work, a lot of effort has gone into this plan. Before I get started, I do want to recognize a lot of people, and I am going to name them by name because I want their names on record as we go through this. But first, off, I want to thank City Council. I want to thank you for approving the idea. Without your support, we wouldn't never be here. So I want to thank you, Ms. Allen. I want to thank you, Ms. Marcus. I want to thank you, Ms. Witt. I want to thank you, Mayor Murphy. I want to thank you, Mr. Miller. Thank you, Mr. Daugherty. Thank you, Mr. Burchett. Mr. Davis, I want to thank you too for having the confidence in me and my team and staff to help support this plan. So thank you for that. I want to thank my staff, Dia, Kelly, Chris, Chandler. They've had my back this whole time through this whole entire process. So without them, I wouldn't have their support pushing me to make this go as far as it's gone so far. I want to thank Mr. Nick Cerise. Nick helped me vet the companies that provided RFPs back to us. I want to thank him for reaching out with me and calling these companies to make sure we're going down the right path and picking the right company. So thank you for that. I want to thank the steering committee. I want to thank them for the countless hours that we put into this, meetings, late nights sometimes. We sat in this room, dark room sometimes, and hashed things out. So on the steering committee was Nick Cerise, Caleb Stapleton, Jordan Kelly, Emily Papert, Sharon Duff, Ann Lisa Allen, Mike Daugherty, Chandler Woodcock, Dia Hubbs, Olivia Thomas, Chris Hakes, Kelly Stricker, and Nikki Biscaglia. They put a lot of effort into this. A lot of their opinions, a lot of their thoughts have gone into this as well. And then I want to thank the Parks Board. I think this is something we've talked about over the years. And here we are, finally being able to present this to you today. So I want to thank Sylvia Harlow, Patty Bond, Sharon Duff, Jeannie Gay, and Erica Grooms. And then last, I want to thank Brand Sitter Carroll. We chose them because we felt like they were the right company. We've done stuff with them in the past. But I want to thank Patrick Hoagland, Phil Schilfarth, Keith Rodenhauser, Becky Benet, John Bucher, Sam Polly, Alex Sabell, and then Lydia Gates. So it's a lot of people. That is a lot who is here tonight. So I say this is my army behind me. And they've been wonderful. They've been awesome. So, so now if I did miss anybody, I do want to say I'm sorry. I will come back at a later date and tell you thank you. So, but now back in the budgeting season of 2023, I asked City Council for the funds for the Moraine Master Park Plan. It seemed without hesitation that you were all on board with this plan. And once the new year came in 24, I was super excited to get this bid process started. That's where it all began. After the proposals came in, it was a clear-cut company that I wanted to work with. I felt like they had the resources to put this together. I've only heard good things about Brand Sitter Carroll. I know we've used them in the past, but it all came true. And then in April of 2024, we decided on Brand Sitter Carroll Incorporated. The city has worked with them, well, in the past, sorry, I'm going off. But, so here we are today. Here we are, an open house, 3 stakeholder meetings, 5 steering committee meetings, 5 major events, lots of surveys, and many opinions later. What is about to be presented to you now is what we are calling the Moraine Community Parks and Recreation Vision Plan. This isn't a master park plan. This is a vision plan. So with that, I want to introduce to you Mr. Keith Rodenhauser.
All right. Thank you, Brent. I'd like to also reiterate and thank the steering committee. You all were integral to us being able to come up with this plan that meets the needs of this community. And the staff, you all have been great. Your excitement about what the future could be and how you can better serve the community is really inspiring. Thank you. And thank you for selecting us to be part of this project so we could be here today. And I'm happy to present the City of Moraine Community Parks and Recreation Vision Plan. So what is the purpose of the plan? What it does? It outlines a vision for the future of parks and recreation. What could the future look like? And it will attract residents and visitors. What else does it do? It'll foster civic engagement, get the community involved, help build that sense of community, and improve quality of life, which is something that everybody is looking for. And it will help bring people, residents, visitors, businesses, all different types of groups to the community to make it better. It helps to align the operations with the needs of the community and make sure that they're following best practices so they can best serve the community. Strengthens fiscal responsibility. This plan in place makes sure when you spend your resources that they're meeting the actual needs of the community that they have identified that they want to see, so that money is well spent. Identifies what it might cost. And then ultimately, it also helps ensure that you're not duplicating what somebody else is doing. You don't have to do everything. You shouldn't do everything. And you have to work with those other agencies that might also help. And then it helps to improve partnerships. So you can, what you do and what Brent's team does isn't everything. It can't be everything. You're not going to be everything to everyone. But you work with the other groups out there, and they can help fill in the other needs. I want to highlight the vision. This is a vision plan. So what is that vision? The vision is for our parks and programs, build strong community and promote healthy lifestyles. That's what the community could be. That's what we'd like to see in 10 years. A little bit about the plan itself and how you can read through this document. The first thing at the beginning is the executive summary. That is less than 10 pages. You can read through and get highlights and really get a good idea what the plan's all about. If that's too much for you, you can read the one-page summary. It's in that graphic right there. You can do that in just a couple of minutes, and that'll get you the real highlights, but the most important aspects that you really need to know. If you have a little bit more time, I would recommend you jump to chapter 4. That's the guts of the recommendations. That has all the specifics for what you can do, what will really make the community better, help you realize that vision that we're talking about, that we really want to see. Now, if you've got more time than that, then go back and read the other 3 chapters, because that's all the data that led us to that point. And on the cover, we have the future Wax Park Amphitheater. Right out here, you'll have concerts. As soon as you all decide to make it happen. So just a quick over the process. It's a 4-phase process that we use. The first phase is looking internally, looking at what you have, the operations, which the parks, look at the condition, compare you to other agencies. What are you offering? What do you have? What do they have? It's all the data, essentially. And then the second is the engagement, talking to the community, which is the most important part. Find out what do they want? What do they need? What would they like to see? And then we take that and we come up with the vision for the future. What does that look like? And the steering committee is really critical to that part of the process because they are representatives of the community. We came here to help you, but we don't know the community like they do. And then finally, the plan, the document that you have here that says, here's how we make it happen. Just a little bit about the background of the community. Most of you probably know a lot of this. You've got just under 7,000 people, and it's been holding fairly steady at around that for decades. However, your population doubles during the day because so many workers that come here, 14,000 or so. So when we talk about the community, the vision for the community, we're not just talking about residents. We're talking about the businesses and the workers and everybody that calls Moraine home for at least part of the day. And a lot of those businesses and workers, they're help paying the taxes that will help support anything that we do here. What your community looks like, you've got a growing senior population, although it's lower than some of the nearby areas, but you've got a lot of children. Looking a little bit at the parks, you've got 10 parks that cover about 130 acres. Looking through the parks, what we found was there's some deferred maintenance, some aging facilities. Some places where you're not quite ADA compliance, where maybe somebody in a wheelchair can't get to some of the amenities like they should. We've got quite a few parks. But there's a lot of potential. You could do a lot more just with what you have than you're doing today. You've even got potential access to the river right out here, but right now you can't see it. The pictures here, that is the playground right outside here. You can't really see it, but the point there is to show how nice that space is. That playground is also tucked way back there, so people might not even see it. It's also really old and in need of replacement, and when you replace it, bring it to where people can see it. It'll really bring people into this park. And then the picture below, that's a space right out here that could be so much more. It used to be something else, but now it's mostly just sitting there. It could be something. A little bit about the benchmarking, just compared, we use something called Park Metrics. It's a NRPA, the National Recreation Park Association. They aggregate all these communities, it's over 1,000 in total, who just volunteer to share all their information, which allows us to then say, here's how you compare. Looking at acreage, land, you've got more. But again, you're serving outside of your community or outside of your residence. Because of that, you're also spending more per resident. Maybe not so much when you talk about the community as a whole. You have more parks. Because of the same things with more parks and more land, you have a little bit more staff, but that allows you to operate this particular facility, which is, for a community your size, absolutely wonderful. You're doing pretty good on revenue compared to others. It's all from here, of course. But cost recovery, not quite there, but that's fine. That's a decision whether or not you want to try to cover all of your costs. That's a matter of perspective and choice. Looking at the facilities, of course, you see you've got a lot. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just you've got more playgrounds, you've got more basketball courts. The real issue is what kind of condition are they in? And that's what we see is that in a lot of cases, you've got a lot when it comes to quantity, but what you would benefit is improvements so that what you have is more attractive to the community, and you will get more use. Looking at the location of your parks and your amenities within the parks, this map shows 14 different types of parks and facilities within the parks. We did a 10-minute walk area and a 5-minute drive, and overlaid all of those areas. And the areas in green have the best level of service, and the areas in red have the worst. But where your parks are, fortunately, is where your people tend to live. So 68% are in the higher, those green areas. So that shows your parks are essentially there where they need to be. On to what we heard from the community. So we had an open house in this room. I think we had 50 people or so. Brent helped out by handing out some food. Always helpful. National Night Out, we had 88 people. Boo Bash, over 100. So over 260 people overall we talked to in person. And what we did is we gave them $1,000 when they came through the door, 1,000 fake dollars. And we asked them, how would you spend these dollars to improve parks in Moraine? And the number one thing was basically upgrade what you have. Improve the parks that you've got today. And then add more programs. And then third was new parks, which was probably just a lack of awareness of what you have or not even knowing that some of your parks are City of Moraine parks. And then new or probably really just improvements to your indoor facilities. Walking and biking trails, you're going to hear that any community in the whole country. So for surveys, we did 2 different surveys. The one was a random sample. So it was set to a random sample of households all within the city. And the purpose there is to get an accurate representation of the opinions and the concerns of residents. So that's just the 6,800 people or so that you have here. And then there's the web and handout survey, which is available to anybody. So it allows people who weren't selected for that random sample, anybody who wants to be involved, even people who are not residents of the city, to share their ideas. About 2/3 were, in fact, residents. And my guess would be that the other third are heavily weighed by people who are part of the community because they are members of the rec center here. And the purpose there, reach as many people as we can. The information we get there tends to be weighted towards the interests of people who are already actively using parks, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just different. So what do we hear? There's a lot more information in that document in front of you, but I'm just gonna go through a couple of charts. In the dark blue is that random sample survey, and then in light blue is the web survey. But as you can see, the findings they're pretty similar. There's just the people who filled out the web survey, those more engaged people want more of everything, a higher percentage of them want it. But number one, you can see restrooms. People want nice, clean restrooms, and that's because they want to spend more time at your parks. They don't want to go home. Drinking fountains, got to cool off. Shade. Shade is big everywhere. You want to spend time in the park, you got to be able to cool off, got to be able to rest. And then trees. You're a tree city. People want more trees. Security, which will help you, especially if you improve your parks, you're going to want to be able to protect them. And then picnic shelters, another place to sit down, have gatherings. Looking at where they would support investment, the highest support was for trails. This is just that random sample survey. And that might come as a surprise to some of you, but think about the age range that uses trails. It's everybody. So that's why some of your sports facilities are a little lower. It's going to be families with kids that are going to be more focused on that. But everybody uses trails. Everybody uses natural areas. But see, playgrounds are number 3. And that's really high for a sample of the whole community, because that's higher than the percentage of children that we have. And then some people would like an aquatic center. We used to have one. And then picnic shelters, as I mentioned, splash pads, which can meet most of the needs of that aquatic center at a lower cost. Community centers, you have one, they probably just want something that you don't currently have here. Fishing piers, access to the water, that's a theme that we heard over and over again. And of course, a stage or amphitheater, which people don't really want a stage or amphitheater. They want the things that you have at a stage or amphitheater, which you'll see here. Higher percentages for concerts and performances and festivals that would take advantage of that amphitheater. Those are number one. Those are number one in lots of communities. People want to go out, they want to meet their neighbors, they want to get out there and see their friends and really get involved in the community. It's essential if we want to build this strong community, as we've discussed, bringing people together. Fishing, canoeing, boating, access to the water. Whether it's at Deer Meadow Park, at the pond there, or whether it's on the river. Adult fitness and wellness. People want to get fit. You have some of those programs. It's the number 4 thing that we're hearing, which means either they want programs at different times, different types of programs, can't get here, don't know about them. One of those reasons. Nature programs, which is one of those things where a partner is the answer, most likely. You can do a few, you do a few now, but you've got Metro Parks, so get them involved for nature programs. Movies, you could have those at your amphitheater. Water fitness programs require a pool, obviously, so that might be another one to work on with a partner. And so ages 50-plus programs, those will continue to grow as the population of the older population increases. So another thing I wanted to focus is reasons people don't participate. The number one barrier is that they don't know what there is to do. They're not finding out about what parks you have, what programs you have. That's all about engagement. How can you improve that so that that's not number one? Make sure people are aware. If your community, your residents, they don't know about something, as far as they're concerned, it doesn't exist. Lack of restrooms. They want restrooms. They're not using the parks partially because of the lack of restrooms. They're probably not using the park. They're leaving earlier than they wanted to. Scheduling conflicts, hours, probably here. They would like to see more hours at this building. Lack of shade, another thing you can address. And so on. Condition of facilities, you can do something about that as well. So this is just a summary of all of the different things we heard from all the different methods. We heard people want trails. Nature, river, water access, whether that's for fishing, canoe kayaking, hiking, so on. Some new facilities, there's interest in a pool, potentially, or a splash pad, a dog park. You don't have one of those. And a lot of times, if you don't have a dog park, then your whole city is a dog park.
Yeah.
Where they would like to see upgrades, some of the neighborhood parks haven't seen investment, especially some of the playgrounds. Improvements to this building, just to make it so that they can offer some of what they don't currently have. And then support features, or really those are elements that they're not the reason that you go to the park, but they make the experience better while you're there. So restrooms, drinking fountain, shade, lighting, and so on. For operations, programming, events. You already have some, but people want more. Concerts, movies, festivals, adult programs. Not just youth programs, but also programs for adults. Fitness, arts, even some sports, and so on. Those nature programs, fishing, canoeing, water access. Aquatic programs, again, that's going to be a struggle without a pool, but there's still that demand there. And then arts programs. There's definitely opportunity for more of that. And then improved maintenance and cleanliness. A lot of that is probably updating a lot of your features. And then improved marketing. There's acknowledgement that they know that they're not aware of everything that's happening, but they would like to know more. All right, on to the Envision. So part of this was working with that steering committee to say, how do we make this into something we can strive for? What could our future be? So we came up with that new vision, which I already read before, but I'll read it again. Our parks and programs build a strong community and promote healthy lifestyles. That's where you're trying to get. We're not all the way there yet, but can we be in 10 years? And then a new mission for the department. Who they are, this is who they are, why they exist, what they do on a daily basis. We provide exceptional parks, events, and programs that enrich lives and strengthen our community. It's all about strengthening that community, building that strong community. I got 4 goals, the 4 Ps. Engaging parks, engaging programs, engaging people, and engaging promotion. So it's all about engaging, and it's all about parks, programs, the people, and then the promotion, making sure people know. And the 4 values that will guide the department: community, nature, innovation, and health. And there's a lot more to go with all this in your document if you want to read more. So all this leads us to the plan itself, the recommendations, what you should do, what you can do to make all of this a reality. And really the key things here are those 3 community parks, your 3 biggest parks that really could be so much more than they are today. I'll start with Ora Everett's. I looked at the survey results and the level of actual use and visitation, and Ora Everett's was pretty low, like lower than some of your little neighborhood parks. And with a park that size, that shouldn't be the case. So what could you do to make that better? Start with, it's a great place for a splash pad. And if you build a really, really nice splash pad and not just a little simple one, that could be a huge attraction. It could be something that you're known for. It could be a signature feature of your whole park system. And you could even potentially charge people for it. A bigger playground, right now the playground is small and it's old, and really your larger parks, they should have big playgrounds that people seek out. And then all kinds of courts, basketball courts, improve those, make sure they have lights. Pickleball courts, is anybody familiar with pickleball? Fastest growing sport in America. If you build pickleball courts, there will be people there. Tennis courts, again, that sport is actually growing and you don't have any. So you might want a couple tennis courts. And then the soccer pitches there, those are basically they're just little soccer courts. But so many groups that want to play soccer, they only have a handful of people, and they can just have a quick pickup game. You can also program it, right? The team could do leagues and whatever. But another big key here is the Civic Center is very underutilized right now. We have actually it's on the next page, a potential floor plan that would take all of the spaces in there and relate them to what could be within the park, so that each of these spaces has a purpose that really helps make those spaces better and more usable to the public, while still keeping your big indoor gathering space. It's actually slightly bigger. And the party room on the side, that would probably be the most popular space here. If you have it overlooking that splash pad, you will probably have it booked all summer. The Deer Meadow Park, this park, I don't know how aware you all are, but you own a bunch of land adjacent to this park. In this concept in front of you, basically the area that currently has the pond and the disc golf is the whole park right now. All that other space is city land. The main thing here that we recommend is a dog park. You don't have a dog park, you've got open space here, right near the entrance, perfect. No residents all that close to complain about the potential noise. It usually isn't that bad, but not even a concern. And then there's a lot else you could do here. All this wooded area, you could turn it into trails. It could connect to the brand new Wright Brothers Pinnacle Trail right across the street there. You could do some more disc golf and so on. It's also a possible place for a baseball, softball, sports complex if you decide you need to do that. There's flat space over there that would be pretty easy to, at least it wouldn't take a lot of work to prepare it. And then Wax Park. The amphitheater is the main thing. And removal of all the old buildings that really just serve as a reminder of what's not here anymore. And the condition that they're in, they're not usable. To make them usable, you have to add a lot, including you have to condition the space.
Yeah, I didn't-
It's not worth it. And if you clear those out of here, it would open the space up so much. Build that amphitheater, you got a huge area, a huge lawn for events. And then find a way to get people so that they can actually see the river. Maybe get on the river in a kayak, maybe fish, but really know that it's there. A nice big playground that will attract people here. Some multi-purpose soccer fields essentially. So right now you don't really have any. That'll allow you to add some programming that's not offered today. And right here, all the staff is here already, so programming that would be pretty easy for them. And then renovate this building to make it meet today's needs. Here's a floor plan of what that could look like. Essentially, we make some of the rooms bigger so that they are more effective, move the storage away from the edge. And then a big thing here is the classroom on the second floor, so they can have some of the programs now that are kind of hard to offer. They don't have a room with a sink, for example. And then have the weight room and the cardio room downstairs. There are a lot of people complain about the weights dropping. It's also a lot easier for the staff and for people to just walk in and use it. There's also a potential addition shown here that would have a second gym, extend the track, more program space. This is more of a long-term, potentially even beyond the 10 years we're looking at today, but this is something you could do, and the shape of the building is sort of obvious to plug that in there. So other things not included necessarily in those concepts, restrooms in the community parks, especially those community parks, those larger parks that people want to spend more time in. Improve wayfinding and signage and branding. Make sure people know they're at a City of Moraine park, especially if you spend these tax dollars, improve these parks, make sure people know this is a City of Moraine park. You are enjoying a City of Moraine facility. And make sure people can find them when they're there and find the amenities within. A feasibility study for an outdoor aquatic center. If you want to do that, the first step is to find out how big it's going to be. Where is it going to go? How are you going to operate it? Who's going to pay for it? What's going to be included? How many people might come? All of those things need to be determined before you build it. Improve trails and connectivity throughout the city. You've actually done a pretty great job for a city of your size, but there's always opportunity to do more. Bring the new trail and that land as part of the park system. It's already city-owned. You can do more with it then. And then provide basic services at the neighborhood parks. Just have a simple list of what you will offer at each of those parks. And then have something, some sort of, either it's a feature or something that the community gets involved in to help make that neighborhood park their own. So they'll have some ownership of it. And they feel like, yes, the city listened to me and this is our park. Program recommendations. Develop and utilize participant evaluations for programs. Know what you did right, know what you did wrong, know what you could do in the future. Continue to engage the community. Find out what kind of events they want, what kind of programs they want. It seems obvious, but utilize all of these new features for additional program opportunities. There's a lot you can do with any of these things. Add some more arts programs. Somebody mentioned one today, but there's definitely opportunity for more. And then seek partnerships for, as I mentioned before, nature programs are an obvious thing, but all kinds of different programs. You don't have to learn how to do it. Just bring somebody in who can help you with that. Other operations, develop and implement an annual marketing plan. If one of our issues is people don't know, let's tell them. How can we do that? There's improvements to the website, social media, different types of social media, different groups use different types of social media, for example. Younger people more likely to use Instagram, older people tend to use Facebook. You got to have a mix. Continue to evaluate your staffing levels. If you increase what you have to offer, somebody's got to maintain that, somebody's got to program that, and you want to make sure you protect it. You spend the money, make sure you keep it available for as long as possible. Update written policies and procedures for all the groups that use your facilities. Make sure it's very clear what they do, what you do. Develop a cost recovery plan, which can helps you define what you're going to charge for, what you're not going to charge for, how much you're going to charge, who's going to pay, and so on. And then it becomes easier when you say, okay, here's the fee, you can explain why. Seek alternative funding. There's a lot of other ways you can get funds for some of these things. You can get partnerships, you can get just having a plan helps you get grants, you can get sponsorships. If somebody's excited about something they see in here, they may say, hey, I want to see this, make sure this happens. Dedicated park maintenance staff can help maintain those parks at a better level, but it also increases efficiency, can streamline repairs so things get fixed quickly, and also improve the overall visitor experience and they can even see the staff out there, maybe even get to know them. And then develop a repair and replacement program for all of the capital improvements. Everything that you put in a park eventually is going to need to be either repaired or replaced. And if you plan for that, then the time won't come that you're suddenly like, oh, we have all of these improvements needed at the same time. The last chapter of this plan is the action plan, which unfortunately you can't really see there. But it's in your report. It's over 100 items. It's essentially a checklist for you and staff to look through, and they can check them as they go for everything to do in this plan to help accomplish our vision. There's a time frame. Some things are 0 to 2 years. Some are 3 to 6. Some are 7 to 10. And there are, of course, some things that probably go beyond that. Also tells you the category, whether it's a capital or an operational improvement, and then who's going to do it. Most of the time it's parks, but sometimes it could be a partner. Sometimes it's something that city council has to do. And then whether or not it is a capital or operational funding or partnerships potentially. And then that last column helps you find where in the report you can find more information about why this is recommended. This here is that one-page summary I mentioned. Quickly and easily lets you know everything that we learned and everything that could come out of this plan. Brent's going to hang that one up, I think, here in Payne Rec Center. And that's it. I would, again, thank you all for allowing us to be part of this. Any questions? Yes.
One thing I noticed in studying this, we've got the rec center, we've got the fitness centers and stuff. We've got playgrounds outside for the kids, but I don't see anything inside for the little kids. People come to use a fitness center and stuff. There's no playroom or daycare park.
There was one here.
We do. We have a
Yeah.
kids clubhouse here.
I don't see one in this plan, though. It looks like everything is being revised, repurposed,
Yeah.
and I don't see anything for like the small kids, for like when someone's using the track or the cardio or whatever.
And that is something that can be nice to have, is when your parents are participating in a program, you can have a program for the kids at the same time.
We did have, but COVID stopped the babysitting, didn't it?
Yeah, we had a playroom for the kids.
I think it was during COVID.
Yes, but the kids clubhouse still was
Yeah.
here for when parents came
But
to
not
work
the
out.
babysitter for 2
Not-
hours or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, yes, that is. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
is the
okay.
babysitter, yes.
You're
But now
talking-
we
okay.
don't have it because.
Yeah. And it was only open for certain
we
hours
taught
too.
it.
Right,
Yes.
And that could easily be worked into the plan here. Right now, the space that was in was larger than needed.
So if you looked at attendance that would bring their kids, we would maybe get 1 to 2 a
2 a
week.
week.
It wasn't a very utilized thing for such a big space that we were using it for.
And that's the thing,
Yeah.
when staff doesn't have space for some of the programs people want, if you only have 2 kids there, maybe you find another way that we can serve those 2 kids and use that space for programs that could be used every day of the week.
Right, just to make a smaller space. But yet there would still need to be something because they can't play outside on the play equipment year-round. And
Right.
parents that are inside aren't gonna want the little kids out there by themselves. So that would be something that really, I think, needs to be put in here because it limits parents being able to come.
If we only have 2 kids a week, you're paying somebody to sit there for 8 hours.
Well,
The whole time
we're
the
talking
thing's
about
open?
expanding this, though, is my
So
understanding.
you may end up with more kids, but that's something where you have
I
the
guess
parents
we'll
sign
see
up,
how many
and you
kids
only
we
have
could
somebody
get.
there if there's actually kids to watch. You wouldn't have somebody there all day.
I would say it is, since I've been here, it's something we've battled with, getting kids to even come to this. We did homeschool gym when I first started. We would get one kid every week, just one. And it's a free program that, well, I think made it cost $1. But we wouldn't get anybody to come. So when you're looking at the overall thing, we want to utilize what people are coming actually here for, and that is to work out. That is for meetings. That is for parties, repasses. We do a lot of that in here. So yeah, is there a lot for the kids to do? Not necessarily, but we do offer a lot for other things as
I was
well.
thinking more along the line of if somebody comes in and they're gonna work out, maybe just a small area where the kid could be nearby, where the kid can't get outside, where they can check on their child or something, even if they don't have
So that's where it gets tricky, because then that kind of becomes a safety concern. If they are in the weight room and you got a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old in the weight room around a bunch of weights, we don't want that kind of
That's not
stuff.
what I said.
I understand, but we did offer that. We have with the kids' clubhouse. So it's not like we haven't offered that.
I was just talking about a room off of the weight room where they know their kid isn't gonna go outside. And maybe it's got windows in it where they can see the kid while they're working out and stuff.
So we would recommend that they continue to monitor the need, and if they really do have a need for watching kids while people work out, that have a way to do that. I'm not sure about 2 kids all week.
Well, I don't know how many kids we'd get in, but, I mean, we try to advertise, and we've got our Marine Messenger, I believe it's called now, and advertise on Facebook and stuff. And I understand that a lot of the people that know about and come to our programs are from outside the city. And people inside the city don't seem to know it, and I don't know how you do that when we keep putting it out and people keep throwing it away.
So I guess to add to this, when I first came here 7, 8 years ago, the programs that we were offering to kids, we didn't really do that. We didn't really have programs for kids when I came on board. Fast forward, now you have Kelly here and Chandler here. We're doing summer camps again. We brought summer camps back last year. She's doing a lot of programs for kids. Chandler's doing NFL Go football, or NFL flag football, MLS Go soccer. We have implemented a lot of new things but within the last 3 or 4 years. So we are offering a lot more than what we have for kids. Maybe we're not offering them a room necessarily, but we are offering them programs to participate in now.
Right, but
So that I guess, it's kind of a tough question. I guess, yeah, we may not have necessarily the room for them, but we are offering them extra things to do.
Right, but what I'm getting at with that is the marketing thing. If we can't get them with the stuff we put out, people are ignoring it. I don't know how we get it to them.
Gotta try different methods.
So the best method we have found is getting flyers into the school. But that's a cost. There's a pretty high cost on that. Every time we do that, it's $600-700 to take flyers and personally, actually, we take staff time to divide them into groups of 30. And then we take them to these schools in groups of 30, stacks of them, and hand them so they can deliver them to the students. When we have done that, we have seen increases in numbers. Last year, when we brought summer camp back, I didn't honestly know how it was going to go. We sold out every week except one, I believe. I was shocked by that. I was so impressed. What Kelly and Chandler put together was just amazing. And here we are into year 2. We're stepping up. We're doing it again. We're trying to give these kids an opportunity to do something all summer long.
Unless we go knock on every door and say, this is what we've got. Kroger's have sales every week. If I don't pick up the flyer that I get in the mail, I don't open it, that's my fault. That's not the city's fault. It's not Kroger's fault. We have tried and tried and tried to get participation. We've tried to get people on boards. I don't think it's our problem necessarily. We just have people that aren't interested. Because I don't know what else we could do. We have the Marine Messenger, and even my neighbor, excuse me, the night of the flashlight hunt, I said, this is gonna be a great night. And they said, for what? And I said, you get the Marine Messenger, don't you read it? Well, we threw it away, and but I made the mistake of telling them, and I shouldn't have. But anyway, they went and she said, we're gonna start reading that, and I said, that, we spend money sending that to each resident.
And we spend a lot of time
We
working
do.
on that.
Yeah.
They put a lot of effort into descriptions and
Yes.
dates and when they're
Right.
gonna work, what's best for the city as a whole. And they have done such a good job with that now, so.
But when you look at the number of participants in these studies, that's low.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's not the Parks and Recs employees' fault, because they do a great job.
Another thing that would help is anything that you do that brings more people to the parks in the first place, they're gonna learn more about what's available. And you can have signs up that can tell you, here's the kinds of programs we offer, and here's how you find out about it.
And we do that too.
But right now, for example, I don't think there's a whole lot of people running to use this playground, for example.
No.
If you had a really nice playground out there and you had a bunch of people on it, and you had signs nearby that said, here's these other programs you could do, more people would find out about it.
Well, like I was telling Brent, I mean, I live where Riverview Park is, and that's one that is under consideration, but it's not had any updates in years. And I was telling Brent, 5 years ago, we might have had 3 kids. Today, we probably have 30 kids in that neighborhood, and they will use that park, but it needs updated.
It definitely does, yes.
See something similar in Lehigh Park, where before you would go by, there'd be nobody there, and now I'm seeing people using the picnic shelter to have lunch with the family. There's kids on it.
I would say with Lehigh Park, if you read through this, it's the #1 park that is within 5 minutes of
A
walking.
10-minute walk
Or
of
10-minute
the
walk.
most, at least of your neighborhood parks, easily the most people.
And I was shocked by that. I guess it just didn't cross my mind that would have been Lehigh Park. And then when I saw that, it kind of struck a chord with me because there is a lot of people over there. There are a lot of children over there. So yeah, I want to update Lehigh Park tremendously because it's not very appealing when you're over there. The fence is dilapidated.
Expand it.
Yeah, the playground's old. It doesn't look very appealing to come into there. But if you are seeing more people in there, that's great
I'm seeing a
news
lot
for
more
us.
than what I used to
Yeah.
see. And
Well,
it's a
that's-
tot lot, but we've got kids coming over there playing basketball and stuff. And that happens all the time, and then I'm seeing more people using the playground equipment and the shelter.
And it's the only hoop I can dunk on. So
And I probably couldn't dunk on that one either.
Pretty low.
But it's kind of centrally
Yeah.
located with, between the north-south part of that ward.
right.
So you got most of the people I'm thinking are coming from the southern part, but it's still within walking distance of Oak Point.
Absolutely. So yeah, it does need a facelift, a big
Yeah.
update on it.
Yeah, I wish we could, like, get those 2 apartment buildings behind it and just expand it and make it bigger.
Can we do that?
I'd like to.
I think things should be more colorful.
What's that?
I think the park should be more colorful, to attract.
Yeah. As in like green grass, green trees, flowers, landscape, or colors of the playgrounds and picnic
The
tables,
equipment.
that
Maybe
kind of
some
stuff.
of the art that
Usually
you
it's
guys are
equipment.
talking about too.
Yep.
We can hand out free
Incorporate that
ice cream.
somehow.
Yeah, they come.
It's another way to get the neighborhood involved.
Yes.
We could always hand out free ice cream.
Hey, that always works.
Yeah. I don't have a park. No, there is none up
Well,
here.
when you lived in German Village, you had 2, so,
Yeah.
no complaints.
Lehigh is the only park on the east side of the river that I know of.
Yeah. So,
Riverview.
obviously you all know that
For me.
we added Wright Landing and
How about you?
Pinnacle Ridge. They don't have those either.
Right.
So
Four and part of Ward
to
One.
me, the whole emphasis of this with the 3 major
I'll
parks,
have to look it up.
that's their
I thought
parks.
it was on the-
Yes, they can go to the neighborhood parks, but we're wanting to attract people to these bigger parks. That's the way of
I
getting
guess ours is
them.
Dare Meadow.
Yeah.
Or Dare Meadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neighborhood parks are great, but if you start with these 3 major parks,
Yep.
everybody can get there pretty easily.
Yes, yes.
Other questions?
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yes,
Great job.
lot of
Easy to
reading.
read.
Yeah. A lot of
I
reading.
told you which areas to focus on if you don't want to read the whole thing.
Oh, no, I've already highlighted
And
things
I've
in
already
here.
went through mine.
So I'll say, through this whole process, I've met a new friend. Keith's been excellent. Keith has been amazing through this whole process. Hopefully our friendship continues throughout this whole time, but I've talked to him. If I have questions about this going in the future, he doesn't mind answering those questions, which I think tells a lot about him personally, and Brand Sitter Carroll Incorporated as well. So I can't thank you enough for everything you've done.
Thank you.
And are there any other questions?
Just one other thing I thought of. I was kind of hoping that you'd come up with a place that we could put a pool.
So there are places,
A
but
pool.
that's,
No, we're
that's
not
for
gonna
that feasibility
ever have
study.
Yeah.
Rather than us to just say, here's a spot. Really, you need to know more. How much space do you need? How big does the pool need to be? There's too many things for us to tell you where that should go right now.
We can't afford one.
We can't.
It almost
We're never-
bankrupt us before.
To me, we don't want to learn the hard lesson again.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
The thing I would say is, yes, it was high on the list, but when you compare the cost of that one amenity to the next 20, and it's the same,
Right,
are those next 20 less important than that one? I don't think so.
yeah.
And I like the idea that maybe in lieu of a pool, it's a very nice splash pad. And this isn't what
Right.
you're used to, little tiny areas. This would be something that maybe has a slide, there's a little more to it. There's an
Right.
attraction there to one of our bigger
People
parks.
will
Yes.
remember the splash pad. They'll be, the marine splash pad. That's the one I want to go to.
Yeah. And
Yes.
remember that this isn't just an investment in our community and in our residents here, but this is an investment for employees within the city.
Yes.
This is a draw for businesses. This is something that will continue paying off down the road, too.
Yes.
And that location there, people are going to drive by it and they're going to see it. They're going to say, what is that?
Yes.
I wanna go there.
Yes, I agree.
Anything else? So if there's no other questions, with that, I'd like to ask for a resolution to formally accept this document as the new Moraine Community Parks and Recreation Vision Plan.
I would like to make a resolution that we accept the Community Parks and Recreation Vision Plan for 2025.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes,
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Doherty,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you all
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. Thank everybody that was involved in this. Okay, that's it. Do we have anyone that wants to appear before council? Does staff have anything?
So just wanted to inform all of you guys that we got the veterans bricks in for the memorial. So I'd like to have Dave reach out to the two veterans and invite them to our next council meeting. And we can do a little like presentation ceremony here with them. So is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
In lieu of our Memorial Day service.
Right, we'll
Right.
still put them in the ground, but I want to wait and have them hold the brick, take some photos, that kind of stuff.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So Finance Director, do you have any,
No, I don't have anything to add, thank you.
Law Director,
No, ma'am, thank you.
Clerk of Council? Here,
I have nothing further, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
Mayor?
Just a thank you to everybody that worked on this plan. Good-looking plan. Thank you.
Mr. Daughtry?
Just excited for the Community Parks and Recreation Vision Plan going forward. Again, I think that it can be more than just something for the residents, but something that really puts our community on the map and can draw some more business, be another tool for us as well. Thank you.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah, I also want to thank everyone that's worked so hard on this vision plan. But this document, like our city's comprehensive plan, is nothing unless we do something with it.
Exactly.
So we will pass this, and it's a great plan, And so I'm looking forward to the rest of this year, not waiting for 2026, but discuss different things that maybe we could possibly get a kickstart and get started this year with whatever our budget allows. So thank you all.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes, I would like to thank again all of you for coming, and we do need volunteers for the 60th anniversary. And I'd like to wish everyone, all the mothers, happy Mother's Day Sunday.
Mayor Murphy?
Uh,
Didn't know if I skipped you or not.
No, you didn't, but yeah, just to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day too.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone that was involved in producing this comprehensive Parks and Recreation Vision Plan, and I'm just looking forward to implementing it.
I'd just like to thank everyone who came to the meeting tonight and stayed for committee of the whole. I can't remember the last time we had this many people in the audience, so thank you
Yeah.
very much. And this meeting is adjourned at 7:31.